Good afternoon, everyone. I'm B. Mariamma, Assistant Professor, Department of Community Health Nursing, Sri Lakshmi Narayana College of Nursing, Pondicherry. Today, we'll see the methods of waste management. The learning objectives are, at the end of the session, you should able to define waste and solid wastes. Describe the prime methods of waste management. Differentiate between the sanitary and insanitary methods of waste disposal. Explain in detail regarding biomedical waste management. Before going to the methods of waste disposal, we'll see the definition. So the dictionary definition is proper disposition of a discarded or discharged material in accordance with local environmental guidelines or laws. So this is the dictionary definition. Here is the another definition, that is waste management is the collection, transport, processing, recycling or disposal and monitoring of waste material. So the waste management include all these processes such as collecting the waste material, transportation of waste material, processing, recycling or disposal, and the monitoring of waste materials. So the management includes all these processes. Next, we'll see what is solid waste. The term solid waste includes garbage, that is the food wastes, rubbish that contributes paper, plastics, wood, metal, throwaway containers, glass. Demolition product, that is in the area of construction, the leftover things like bricks, masonry, pipes, all these together will constitute into the demolition product. Sewage treatment residue, dead animals, manure, and other discarded material. So all these will be grouped under solid wastes. Next, we'll move on to methods of disposal of waste. So the principal methods of refuse disposal are dumping, sanitary landfill, incineration, composting, manure pits, burial. So all these things will be categorized into two groups. One is insanitary method, another one is sanitary method. Insanitary method, dumping. Refuse is dumped in low-lying area. As a result of bacterial action, the refuse decreases considerably in volume and is converted gradually into humus. So this is the dumping process. But the drawbacks of dumping includes the refuse is exposed to flies and rodents. Drainage from dumps contribute to the pollution of surface water as well as the groundwater. So it is the source of nuisance from the smell and unsightly appearance. The loose refuse is dispersed by the action of wind. So considering all these backgrounds, in the year of 1967, the WHO expert committee condemned dumping as a most insanitary method that creates public health hazards, a nuisance, and severe pollution of the environment. So WHO in the year of 1967 itself told that dumping is a insanitary method. Next, we'll see the sanitary methods. These include sanitary landfill, composting, incineration, manure pits, burial, and biogas plant. First one is sanitary landfill. So by the name itself, we can understand that the land or filled with the refuses and it is covered properly. That's why it comes under sanitary method. So the here sanitary landfill is also called controlled tipping, laying of dry and condensed refuse in a trench or other prepared area with intervening earth covering. So the anaerobic digestion of the refuse takes place for a period of about 4 to 6 months. So after that, it will serve as a plant nutrient. So this is sanitary landfill. So next, the sanitary landfill have several methods in it. Trench method, ramp method, and area method. First, we'll see trench method. Trench method, where the level ground is available, the trench method is usually chosen. A long trench is dug out 2 to 3 meter deep and 4 to 12 meter wide, depending upon the local area. So the refuse is compacted and covered with excavated earth. So this is the trench method. So here is the example how the trench will be made. So with the help of the excavator, they will dig a dug and into that the refuses are poured into it. Over that they'll cover with earth. This is the trench method. Next is the ramp method. So ramp method is suited where the terrain is moderately sloping. So these sloping area are filled with refuses. That is the ramp method. Whereas if you see in trench method, we are purposefully making a dig, but here in ramp method, the available places such as the slope or any depressed area is covered with the refuse. That's the main difference between the ramp method and the trench method. Area method. So it comes under the ramp method. That is, this method is used for filling land depression, disused quarries and clay pits. The refuse is deposited, packed and consolidated in uniform layers up to 2 to 2.5 meter deep. So each layer is sealed on its exposed surface with a mud cover at least 30 centimeter thick. So such sealing prevents infestation by flies and rodents, and it prevents the smell and dust. So here what they will do, so the refuse is deposited, packed in a layers up to 2 to 2.5 meter deep, and over that they will cover with a mud for at least 30 centimeter. So this covering of the mud will prevent the infestation of flies. So this is the example for area method. So where there is a land depression, they will fill it with, they will cover it with the refuses, and over that mud is covered for about 30 centimeter thickness. This is the area method. So next method is composting. So first sanitary landfill is over. Under sanitary landfill, we have seen 3 methods. That is trench method, ramp method and area method. Now we'll move on to composting. Composting is a method of combined disposal of refuse and night soil or sludge. So here the organic matter will undergo bacterial action. So because of these bacterial action, that organic matter will be converted into a humus. So that will serve for the plant. So this is the simple process of how the composting is taking place. Here, the heat produced during composting is 60 degrees centigrade or higher. Over a period of several days, it destroys eggs and larvae of flies, weed seeds, and pathogenic agents. So the heat produced during the process of composting will kill all the pathogenic agents. The end product is a good soil builder containing small amounts of the major plant nutrients such as nitrates and phosphates. So the end product is the plant nutrients, that is, it includes nitrates and phosphates. So the end product could also be used for other purpose, that is manure. So next is the methods of composting. So here in composting also we have 3 methods, that is Bangalore method, mechanical composting and vermicomposting. So we'll see Bangalore method. So Indian Council of Agriculture Research at the Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore, it is situated there. It's been recommended as a satisfactory method of disposal of town wastes and night soil. So the Bangalore method is also called hot fermentation process. Here, the trenches are dug 90 centimeter deep, that is 1.5 to 2.5 meter broad and 4.5 to 10 meter long. So depths greater than 90 meter are not recommended because of slow decomposition. So we have to see that the depth should not go beyond 90 centimeter because the slow decomposition occurs there. The first layer, that is 15 centimeter thick, is spread at the bottom of the trench, and the second layer is the night soil is added corresponding to the thickness of 5 centimeter. Night soil here is the human excreta. So the third layer, refuse and night soil, are added in the proportion of 15 centimeter and 5 centimeter respectively till the heap rises to 30 centimeter. The top layer should be of refuse at least 25 centimeter thickness. So after 7 days, heat is generated in the compost mass. Intense heat which persists over 2 to 3 weeks decompose the refuse and the night soil, and it destroys all the pathogenic and the parasitic organism. After 4 to 6 months, the decomposition is complete and the resulting manure is a well decomposed one. So this is the process of how the composting is occurring. So first layer is refuse that we have to fill it for 15 centimeter thickness, and over that, that is the second layer is night soil followed by refuse for 15 centimeter thickness, and it is followed by night soil 5 centimeter thickness, and the topmost before that is next to the topmost layer we have to fill the refuse for at least 25 centimeter thickness, and over that we have to cover with earth. So this is the thing that how it is taking place. So throughout the period, the anaerobic decomposition will take place, and it takes about 4 to 6 months to convert it into a humus. So at last they will take it out and they'll use it for the purpose of agriculture. Next is the mechanical composting. So mechanical composting, the word itself, we can know that something that is machine is involved. So the mechanical composting, that is, the refuse is first cleared of salvageable materials such as racks, bones, metal, glass, and items which are likely to interfere with the grinding operation. It is then pulverized in a pulverizing equipment in order to reduce the size of the article to less than 2 inches. The pulverized refuse is then mixed with sewage, sludge, or night soil in a rotating machine and incubated. The factors which are controlled in the operation are a certain carbon-nitrogen ratio, temperature, moisture, pH, and aeration. The entire process of composting is complete in 4 to 6 weeks. So first the refuse will go for screening, and they will put those refuses that is which is very small in size into the pulverizing equipment, and after that they will take that pulverized refuse and mix it with the sewage, sludge, and night soil, and that will kept under certain incubation period, that is the temperature, pH, aeration will be set in control. Then after 4 to 6 weeks, that will be completely turning into a compost. The entire process of composting is complete in 4 to 6 weeks. This method of composting is in work in some of the developed countries. Say we can Poland, Germany, Switzerland, Israel. So in such countries, it is in work. The government of India is considering plans in selected cities. Cities such as Delhi, Nagpur, Mumbai, Chennai, Pune, Allahabad, Hyderabad, Lucknow, and Kanpur have offered to join the government for setting up pilot plants for mechanical composting. So next is the vermicomposting. So vermicomposting, here it is a method of garbage disposal. Here the garbages are left into the soil, and after some days or some weeks, the worms that will be created in the garbages that will oxidize the things and that will turn into a compost. This is the vermicomposting. So here is the picture that you can see. Along with the vegetable waste or the kitchen waste, these earthworms are formed. So they will convert these things into a manure. Next is the incineration. So refuse can be disposal of hygienically. It is the method of choice where suitable land is not available. Hospital refuse, which is particularly dangerous, is best disposed of by incineration. So incineration is practiced in several of the industrialized countries. So here incineration, that is, there will be a machine called incinerator. Here all the wastes will be put inside and they will burn, and the end product will get the ash only. So here it is followed in some industrialized countries like Mumbai, Chennai and all. They will not have proper places for the disposal. So in such condition, they'll use the incinerator. Especially the hospital wastes, the medical wastes are treating under this incineration process. So this is the picture of the incinerator. So you can see the parts here. So this is the ash discharger. Finally the ash product will come. The picture. So as I told that it is suitable for places where the lands are not available for disposal, and especially the hospital and biomedical wastes are managed by this process of incineration. But the disadvantages included in incineration are expensive. It is expensive and there is no byproduct. The byproduct cannot be useful. So, and it creates a air pollution. So these are all some of the disadvantages of incineration. Next is the manure pit. The problem of refuse disposal in rural area can be solved by digging manure pit by the individual householders. The garbage, cattle dung, straw and leaves should be dumped into the manure pit and covered with earth after each day's dumping. So this method of refuse disposal is effective and relatively simple in rural community. So in case of rural area where they cannot expect the government or any other resources for the disposal of the waste things, here they will follow this method, manure pit. They will dig a pit and into that they'll put all the refuses. Cattle dung, straw, leaves, garbages, everything is dumped into that manure pit. So this is the manure pit. So they can make two pits also for the alternate usage. If the one pit, it will take 5 to 6 months for the decomposition to occur. So during that period, they can make another pit also. So after 5 to 6 months, they can open that and they can take the manure out. Next is burial. It is suitable for small settlements or camp. A trench 1.5 meter wide and 2 meter deep is excavated, and at the end of each day, the refuse is covered with 20 to 30 centimeter of earth. So when the level in the trench is 40 centimeter from the ground level, the trench is filled with earth and compacted, and a new trench is dug out. So this is the way they will create a trench. So if it comes to the 40 centimeter from the ground level, then they will close it with the earth and they will make another trench. And it is useful for the purpose of temporary usage. Say for example, camp and all. Okay, so the decomposed matter may be ready for use as manure within 4 to 6 months. After 4 to 6 months, we can take the decomposed matter and it serves as a manure. This is burial. Next is the biogas plant. So the biogas is produced by the anaerobic breakdown of solid waste or the excreta. So the biogas here are methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen that can be used as a fuel for any heat purpose, such as cooking. So this is the picture here. They will make like this, and the end product, that the fumes that is comes out after the decomposition, that is after the anaerobic breakdown of the sludge and the night soil, that will be collected into the container, and later they will use that gases for the cooking purpose. So this is biogas plant. Next is the medical waste. So all the waste generated, discarded and not intended for further use in the hospital contribute to the medical waste. So how do we manage the hospital waste? The management of waste produced by the hospital, using such techniques, they will help to check the spread of disease, protect people working or attending there, and promotes the healthy clinical environment. So why do we do this one? Why do we do the hospital waste management? Injuries from the sharps might lead to infection to the caregivers and the waste handlers. Thus, it can be prevented. So, nosocomial infections from one person to another person can be prevented. Public health risk for waste handlers and scavengers and public living outside the hospital could be protected by managing the hospital waste. So there is a risk associated with hazardous chemicals and risk of reusing the disposal by the unscrupulous elements without permission. So the reuse of disposable drugs to unscrupulous buyers. So these things could be avoided. Air, water, and soil pollution could be avoided. Next is the hospital waste categories. The WHO categorized the hospital waste into two sections, that is infectious waste and non-infectious waste. First is the infectious waste. Materials consisting pathogens, if exposed, can cause the diseases. So that will comes under the infectious waste. Human anatomical waste, that is waste from the surgery, autopsy, or patient with infectious diseases that contribute to anatomical waste. Sharp, disposable needles, syringes, blades, broken glasses, nails, or anything that could cause cut. That will come under the group of sharps. Pathological, tissues, organs, body parts, human flesh, blood, and body fluids that contributes to the pathological waste. So these are said to be infectious waste. Next is the non-infectious waste, that is hazardous. Pharmaceutical, drugs, and chemical that are refused from ward, outdated drugs, or any which is no longer required, that will come under the hazardous non-infectious waste. Radioactive solids, liquids, and gases, waste contaminated with radioactive substances used in diagnosis for the purpose of treatment. The diseases like goiter, those things will come under the non-infectious hazardous waste. So next is the non-hazardous, that is domestic waste from office, diet section, rooms including the linen, utensil, our personal waste, garbages, paper, etc. These will comes under the non-hazardous, non-infectious waste. So this is the coding system to segregate the waste. Biomedical waste management. So the general waste like kitchen waste, paper, tissue, water bottles, cans will be put into the green color code. And the red bag serves for infected plastic syringes, gloves, and plastic wastes. The yellow bag includes infected waste, soiled, anatomical, liquid, chemical, cytotoxic, laboratory waste, expired and discarded medicines. So to the blue bag, we add glasswares, antibiotic vials, metallic implants, glassware material like cytotoxic, except the cytotoxic things. Next is the transparent or white bag. That includes sharp, needle, and cut glasses. So this is how they will code for the source to collect the sources of wastes from biomedical waste. So to summarize, we have seen definition, methods. Under methods, we have sanitary methods and non-sanitary methods. In non-sanitary methods, the process of dumping will come. In sanitary methods, sanitary landfill, composting, incineration, manure pit, burial, and biogas plants are included. So again, in sanitary landfill, we have three methods: French method, RAM method, and area method. And in composting, we have Bangalore method, vermicompost, and mechanical compost. So this is about method of waste management. So biomedical waste management, how do we manage the biomedical waste? Especially for these things, we go for a process called incineration. So coming to conclusion, disposal of waste is an important procedure to be followed by an individual in a community. Health professionals need to have a basic knowledge of the subject, since improper disposal of wastes constitutes a health hazard. Health professional may be called upon to give advice in some special situations, such as Coping with a waste disposal problem when there is a disruption or breakdown of community health services in natural disaster. So it is very essential for each and everyone, especially we are in the field of medical, that we have to know the methods of waste disposal. These are all some of the references you can refer. So thank you.